Shedeur Sanders the most disrespected quarterback prospect we've seen in years? Or is he just the first one bold enough to stop playing along? Because what just happened in that interview wasn't normal. It wasn't polished, it wasn't scripted, and it definitely didn't go the way the media expected. The moment he looked up and pushed back, you could feel everything shift. No nerves, no panic, just control. And from that point on, the entire narrative started cracking, but that was just the beginning. Mary Kay Cabot walked into that room like the story was already written, like she knew exactly how this was going to go. You've seen this play before. Reporter asks a safe question, quarterback gives a predictable answer, clip gets posted, headline gets pushed. Easy. Except this wasn't that kind of interview. Because the question she asked, it wasn't really a question. It was a setup. The kind that sounds harmless on the surface, but if you listen closely, it's guiding you somewhere. Was this a humbling experience for you? Now think about that for a second. That word humbling, it's not neutral. It already assumes something. It already frames the player a certain way. And most rookies, they just accept it. Smile, nod, say the right thing, move on. But Shedeur didn't. He stopped everything cold and asked 4 simple words. What does humbling mean? And just like that, the entire room shifted. Because that's not what they expected. That's not how this is supposed to go. Athletes aren't supposed to challenge the question. They're supposed to answer it, but he didn't play along, and that's where things started getting uncomfortable. See, most players in that position, they're trying to survive the moment. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to go viral for the wrong reasons, so they stay safe. But Shedeur wasn't trying to be safe. He was trying to be real. No attitude, no disrespect, just calm, direct confidence. The kind that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. And honestly, that might have hit harder than anything else he could have done. Because when you don't react emotionally, when you don't get rattled, when you just sit there and calmly challenge the premise, you take control. And now suddenly the reporter isn't leading the conversation anymore. He is, and then it got even more interesting. Because once that moment passed, Shedeur didn't turn defensive. He didn't take shots. He didn't try to win the exchange. He started talking about growth, real growth. Not the typical, I'm just taking it day by day type answers we hear all the time. No, he made it personal. He talked about learning something new every single day, staying coachable, staying open-minded. He even joked about learning how to trim his beard better, and that's when things really stopped making sense for the people who had already made up their minds about him. Because wait a second, this is the same guy people called arrogant? The same guy they said was uncoachable? That didn't match at all. He came across grounded, self-aware, comfortable in his own skin. And instead of feeding into the narrative, he quietly dismantled it. But that wasn't even the biggest part. Because this wasn't just one interview. This was part of a pattern. For months, Shedeur Sanders has been under a microscope. Every answer analyzed, every move questioned, every bit of confidence turned into a talking point. And if we're being honest, some of it hasn't felt random. Because look at how the comparisons started showing up. You had conversations around Deshaun Watson, then suddenly Gabriel gets brought into the mix. Different names, different situations, but somehow always used to create contrast. And fans started noticing something. It felt less like analysis and more like positioning. Like no matter what, the conversation kept circling back to one thing, finding a reason to question Shedeur. And the wild part, he never fed into it. He didn't go on social media rants. He didn't call people out. He didn't try to defend himself every 5 minutes. He just kept showing up. And every time he spoke, the gap between the narrative and reality got wider. But then came the moment that really flipped everything. Because